Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks. Going back and forth like Claude Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, but we're broadcasting all over the world. And Jimmy, it's Happy Tuesday, and I'm glad everybody is with us on the Chop Shop broadcasting live simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook Live. I hope your week is off to a great start. Hope you and yours are happy and safe, whatever part of the country you in. But let me tell y'all, I gotta say, Jimmy, who knew in 2020 that we would be rehashing all the 1991 hot takes from the Bulls and the Pistons? Who would have thought that last year? I didn't think about this. That people are thirsty for everything. Carmen Electra having interviews on the radio yesterday. What a place that to be in. Think about it. She watching the documentary like the rest of us, and guess what she was wondering? Did I get cheated on again? And she, I don't know if you heard about the radio show she came on. She was doing an interview, and she was talking about the documentary, and she was just letting F-bombs fly, slip all throughout the radio interview. And they had to cut her off a little bit because radio is different from what you were on the other day, young lady. And so what happens is, it happens to all of us. Everyone thinks it's brand new out here because you can see people swearing on these documentaries. So people come on a radio show and feel the FCC is not a real thing anymore. So we have to watch that. Even when we were on the radio, we did good. We did a great job because we never got a violation. But depending,
we got a bunch of warnings.
Yeah. But depending on the platform, there are different limitations, and not everybody, is out here. Everybody's not like that. Jimmy, what I want to ask people, Derek Johnson and everybody on the Facebook feed, this documentary thing kind of got me kind of wired up. What documentaries that other out there, Jimmy, that you want to see? What teams do you want to see them do a documentary? Not right away, because this one too good. The 90s Cowboys. I mean, what do y'all want to see? Especially on Facebook. I mean, YouTube. I want y'all, and Facebook, go over to YouTube. I want y'all to tell me what documentaries that y'all want to see, and I'm gonna get them in the right hands. I'm, Jimmy, I'm gonna get them in the right hands. But I mean, it's a great day in sports, Jimmy. It's a great time to be in sports. A lot of stuff going on, Jimmy, and I'm gonna bring you in. But Jimmy, at some point, we had a great conversation with a great guest yesterday, and Jimmy, I got a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, and a lot of emails about the conversations, which were great, about the conversations that were had. A lot of people' eyes were open to certain things. And there's some certain things I would like to clear out. But if you want to come in a minute, and if there's anything about yesterday that was eye popping to you, and thanks everybody for the questions. But tell me because it's a few things I want to clear up. But I just wanted to see did anything stand out to you about CJ's interview yesterday?
I mean, CJ did his best to answer the question. He provided.
No. Not the questions. Did anything pop out of the whole conversation? Did anything pop out to you? Anything pop out? That's important. He could have.
I mean, that's any conversation. You're going to get nuggets. So you learn some little bitty things about his sit downs and what goes on. How many agents that they recommend? Remember, that's an opinion, but how many he's recommended to interview? It also the difference between when you signing and the different guys that may work for different agencies up under that, but which is common practice for the majority. But at the same time, it came to light as far as the ownership of certain companies that people got a chance to do their homework or visualize because we posted them on the screen, and so stuff like that. And those are things that people can take. And what one of the purposes of is to inspire or influence or even motivate a person who was attracted to the conversation to push forward and go and dig deeper and do some more homework and go forward. So that's what a good assignment. It's like a sermon in church. You go to church, that good sermon, that good one, even though you might have wrote to church, listen to some Too Short, you ain't putting Too Short in when you leave church. You're going to cut it all the way down. You're going to leave the song on. You're going to pause it, but you're going to cut the volume down and just kind of let that sermon resonate at least till you get down the boulevard. Yeah. That's how you think of it. So,
and I see Theo Huskable, he got his little things up there. But Theo, I'm not going to let you take over the show today. And I want to get past this because it's just some things that I need to clear up because I'm in that profession. It's just, it was some things that my whole take, like I said, all I wanted to do is highlight those five agents that I talked about, African-American, black agents that happen to have those top picks in the top 10. That's really, I wanted to highlight that because I thought it was a badge of honor. I love singing that. And then the flip side of it, just had to let you know, the business practices, because it's always always the game behind the game. And I had a unique conversation, Jimmy, with somebody was telling me an agent who works for a white agent, a black agent, and he felt that he was bashed on by CJ. But if you knew CJ's heart, he really didn't. He just didn't know how to articulate it right. What he was you got to understand, once you've seen how this thing really works and you know how it can work, you don't go back. You just don't go back. But let me tell you something. Black agent, whoever you work for, okay? I'm supporting you. Get your experience. I just want you to understand, always put yourself in a position of power. And don't always be the employee. be the employer. And that's if that's one thing that I would, be a decision maker. And I know it takes time. You got to get in first. That's why I said it's okay to work for somebody. I'd rather you go work for somebody than don't work for nobody and come out here and try to represent these guys. And then you mess it up like Master P did and set us back 5 years a long time ago. Go back and read that. I ain't got time to talk about it. Master P, in his endeavor trying to be in the sports agent business, he didn't do the actual deal. Another guy did the deal. But I just wanted people to understand that there are guys, and you can seek them out. And my thing, I should have told y'all yesterday, call the Players Association. They have all of that information instead of us talking about this on this air and advertising it. Let me tell you something. They are. We got a couple of them here in Houston, and it's possible to have, if you feel comfortable. Remember what I told you. Like somebody told me something the other day, Jimmy, and I think that's what Stacy asked. He said some key, Melvin Dews. He said, what if all three of them, you lack all three of them. He didn't say it, but I'm just adding more. All three of them offered me a bag. Who do I choose? Who I choose? And that was a unique, but I always said something, hey y'all, don't be bought. Find you somebody who's gonna go make you wealthy. And so that's I just wanted to know, agents out there, if you work for a white firm, CJ did not mean talk. He wasn't talking negative about y'all. He just know that, some people out here on the Boom Boom Room probably have never met a guy like me, have never met a guy like him. Some kids and some people don't even know guys like, I know some people didn't know black guys that represent these guys exist. And of course, yes, I'm still in the business, but it's very selective. Let me tell y'all something. I told y'all the story, Jimmy, about the guy. I had two instances that see what I do now, Jimmy. I found one or two guys that I really like. I don't go chasing after guys. I'm too old. I done put in too much time in this business, and guess what? I put myself in a position that I don't have to, but I go find one or two guys, special guys every year. You remember I told you the story about the kid who signed with me. I didn't have to go to St. Louis and visit his dad. I could have just went on as status quo, but I did it. Most agents said, okay, you done signed, you go home and handle it. But I went to their house in St. Louis, if you heard the story today. And guess what? I saw the tension in the family, and I said, no, this is nothing. I mean, this recent history. This in the last 3 years. And then last year, I had a kid I thought that I really had a chance to have. And guess what? The exact next day, I knew I blew them away in an interview. And guess what? I know somebody who was in each interview saying by far we were the best. See, I got a unique thing, Jimmy. I don't mind help financing you. I just don't want to buy you. Now, if you come and say, okay, Robert, I'm with you. Man, I got banks at my disposal to help you in your bridge till you become a professional, till you get your money. But I just don't want to buy you. I've never been a guy that tried to impress women like that. I got to buy you. I just never been that guy. You my girl, you get anything. We just don't operate like that. And guess what? And Jimmy, I was laughing because I said, it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's got to do with these new people coming up. Because let me tell you something. It was a time, and let me show people, Jimmy, it was a time. It ain't got nothing to do with us. I'm going to show you a picture. All around that, if screenshot it so y'all can see it later, all around that's Penny Hardaway, Greg Hill, Rashard Lewis, LeVar Arrington, all of these guys, we sitting around at a table. All of these black guys represented black men, right? Okay? Hold up. So it ain't got nothing to do with us. Hold up. I got another little picture. This is at another event. I just want to show you what can happen. And matter of fact, all of those guys, there's another one. All of those guys across that screen, screenshot it. All of those guys, Tim Bianca Patuka, all of those guys. We even had Andy Walker, a golfer, on there, a pro golfer. Robert Ory over here. Had all of these guys, but what happened, I found out today, Jimmy. I got a phone call last night, and I'm going to lead this conversation. Jimmy, so a guy got the number 2 pick and the number 3 pick that with Clutch Sports. Do you know it's some, y'all got to hear me. Slow down, y'all got to hear me. Do you know it was some agents that didn't get them picks, but they got good picks in that draft and got a lot of good black agents that work for white firms, 2 of them. Do you know they mad and hating on the dude that got the number 2 and the 3 pick, talking about they gonna do everything they can? Listen, y'all got to hear me on this. And I'm not calling no names, to do everything to steal these clients from this guy. Check this out. These guys, 2 other guys, black agents, work for white firms. Didn't get these 2 guys, the 1 and 2 pick, Chase and the cornerback. Gosh, I'm trying to get my train of thought. Jimmy, it broke my heart. I sit there and said, wait a minute, man. So if you looked on the screen a minute ago, and I showed you all those guys, we represent all them guys at the same time, right? If you imagine they doing it right now, can you imagine what those people were doing to us back then? Can you imagine if 2 black agents doing this in 2020, can you imagine in year 2000, 2006, how they were doing us? We got to, man, stop. I keep trying to tell y'all, we got to get used to people around us being successful. And not trying to, and not have, hold up. And these 2 agents work for a white firm, right? We got to quit getting mad because somebody else taking food off the master's plate. Dude, these guys got top guys this year, but they didn't get the 2nd and the 3rd pick. So they mad. That's a mentality, my people, on this boom boom room. And I know some of y'all got that. Y'all, when y'all see somebody, y'all can't stand. Some people are like that. Y'all can't stand to see other people's success. It's people close to y'all. When they get a new car, y'all look at them crazy. You know, a beautician told me she hides her new car because she don't want nobody to see her new car, because girls, they stop, when they see she got a new car, they stop coming to get their hair cut. Hey, y'all, we got to stop that, y'all. We got to stop. I'm telling you, this generation, y'all probably gone. But please instill in your young people that it's okay for this guy, Ken Lutz, to be successful. It's okay for Derek Johnson to be successful. It's okay for Cynthia Guillory to be have the biggest events in the world. It's okay, and I'm gonna still support her. Y'all, listen to me. After I got off this phone, several agents followed me on my social media and called me, and some people called me. We can't keep doing that. Stacey Houston, Daryl Barnes, and Daryl and Jimmy. I'm Jimmy. Older people, I know y'all just stuck in y'all ways and can't nobody tell y'all nothing. I understand. But please don't hand that curse down to the people in your sphere of influence. I'm telling you, both of these guys were successful in that draft on Sunday, got way higher picks than anybody in my firm. And guess what? I came on my show. Think about this. I let a guy come on my show and talk about other black firms and talk about it. Who does that? Who does that? I am trying to be an example, man. Just trying to be. I'm sick of people talking about crab in the bucket. I don't even know about a crab because I just eat crabs. I don't know what a crab do. But we got to start understanding that it's okay for Jimmy Hicks to be successful. And Jimmy got to understand it's okay for Robert Hatter to be successful. And it ain't gonna hurt Jimmy at all. Ain't gonna hurt. It ain't gonna take nothing off his plate. We're in two separate industries. So I didn't mean to go that far, but y'all, it was on my heart when two guys who had top picks in the draft hating on the guy that's got the two top picks. We got to stop that, y'all. Jimmy, what you got, man?
I mean, that applies all across the board in various sectors of dealing with our people. And if you're white and you're on the chop shop right now, just understand the chop shop. When it comes to black folk, it's a little bit closer to the nucleus of our heart. So we know black folk, so we can talk about black on black stuff a whole lot easier than general situations that involve some of the white and black. So just bear with us on that. And but this, it happens a lot. And it just, the thing is, to pull back the layers and you ask why.
Jimmy, I'm laughing. Jimmy, I'm gonna add something to you. You go right back. Can Lutz said something. I know I forget it. She said it's because Robert, I'm in a phase in my life. I'm in a legacy phase of my life. No, Can Lutz, I've always been this way. I've always supported every eight. I always supported them. Gary Payton happened to be one of my great friends, right? Me and him traveled more than him and his agent. We used to hang out more than me and his agent did. I never approached him because what? He was represented by an African-American agent. Damon Stoudemire, the same thing. Guess what? He met his wife at my birthday party. Guess he come to every event I give. Jimmy, I'm just trying to help him out a little bit. It's not because I'm in a legacy phase. It's because it's right. And I just want the next generation to understand it's okay to do it while you're young. Go on, finish, Jim. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and what I'm saying is you have to figure out, ask the question is why? And that's the topic as why. Why do people do it? And we're speaking right here in Houston. Young lady, she's not from here. She's from Oklahoma. Nicole Lynn, she's a black female in that business and an agent. She lives in Houston. So we adopted her. She's been in Houston for a few years, and she got the number 10 pick in the NFL draft this year. Yeah. She had 2, I think, picks in this draft, but that number 10, that's not, how does that common? How many black females?
Well, no black female. It's not common. It's not common. And it's just my thing is, let's just applaud instead of let's understand that certain people just being successful, y'all, right? Like you said, right in our backyard, and let's applaud them instead of, no matter what you're doing, let's applaud them. Let's just start now. All you old people, I understand. All I'm telling you, let's not pass that generational curse down to our younger people. That's all I ask for y'all today. I don't even want to ask why, because you're gonna have excuse. Just let's not pass it down. In my house, think about it, Jimmy. I grew up Memphis, Tennessee. I've never, till I got older, has ever stayed in another person's house other than a black person's house. My son grew up living in a basketball quarters with other people from all over the world. So guess what? He probably gonna have he gonna stay. In other words, he gonna live with other cultures more than I did. So I understand that, but I put inside of him the value of looking at people and understanding his people. And don't you ever be jealous of another person's success, ever. And I know people jealous of us, and but believe you me, it's people jealous because you got two guys that spend 8 hours of their life a week on a show, bringing y'all a show every day. But people jealous of Jimmy and I.
Oh man,
It's crazy. Two guys that's giving. The guys giving. How the hell you gonna get mad at two guys giving? Go on, Jimmy.
I mean,
It's
you
crazy.
know,
It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
one thing I noticed now, and like I said, it's my thing that I'm picking up, and it's not gonna be, I'm implementing into myself, in my self inspection of this spring, is the fact that remember this quote, and I said it last week. Nobody can push a button that you don't have. So I'm in process on the construction of removing some buttons. So I had a few of them in there. Like trying to find, I'm not gonna compare the button to cancel, but it's just trying to find a needle in the haystack. And so remember, no one can push that you don't have.
And Jimmy, I don't think we're talking about buttons here. I'm talking about the legacy you're gonna hand down to your next generation. It ain't no but. I don't care about, dude. I'm not worried about me personally. This has got nothing to do with Robert Hatter. I hope you understand that, because I think you're trying to personalize it. I'm trying to say, let's not, whoever the button pushers, I don't care what buttons they push anyway. All I'm asking y'all is, I'm glad you said that, because maybe some people out there thinking like you. Just don't hand it down. Y'all can keep hating, because every time I look around, y'all need to hate some more. Keep hating. Because guess what? All I'm saying is, I don't want you to hand that curse to the next generation. Let's bring them up saying it's okay to see Lil Johnny succeed. Girl, don't be mad at him. You know how the neighbor, the neighbor put in a pool next door, and no, go put your pool in there, if that's what you want. So that's all. It ain't got nothing to do about buttons, Jimmy. I know you tried to personalize it with you buttons. Excuse me, I am not talking personally for Robert Hatter. Robert Hatter, all right. I'm thinking about our next generation, and I want them to be better than we are. That's all I want. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good time. I mean, you guys, I see the comments on there, and shout out to Angel, welcome back. And Lewis Harvey is on the Chop Shop. I see Gary Carter on there and join us, and as well as Todd Holmes. He's a regular. Todd, Todd is going for the most post of the day award. And shout out to Cynthia Guillory up in DFW and up there, and you mentioned her a while ago. And just guess what, guys? It's a great thing. We were talking about continuing the convo about the agents and sports management business, and how to just want to land. He had a wild hair that needed to be
That
put.
really was wild. I told you. See, I want you to listen. I know you want to listen to me. It's some people called me last night. I mean, it's people who, listen, I got new followers now. Hey, Jimmy, it's people watching this YouTube,
Oh,
Facebook.
absolutely.
Listen to me, y'all. It's some powerful people watching this show. I'm not trying to, let me tell you something. And there's some people on there right now, know it is. Some powerful, powerful people watching this show. And they have a perspective, and they would, they was just concerned. And I just had to make sure, because you got to understand, when we bring guests on this show, we not responsible, because we don't do the, Jimmy, we don't do the, the disclaimer. We don't do that disclaimer. But we got guests on this show, and these guests might say something, and I just see that Melvin Dudes repeating, the comment you said. See, that's why I tell you words are powerful. That's why I watch the stuff that come out of my mouth. They're powerful. When stuff this important, I don't play with it. Because I know our next generation at stake. When you got some guys that represented some of the top guys in the NFL, calling, talking about they mad because they didn't get, I don't like him. Hold on. Jimmy, guess what they said? I'm sorry. Thank you, Jesus. Guess what they said, Cynthia? They said, he ain't paid his dues yet. That's what these two clowns said. And I know they listening. You act like a clown yesterday. This is what these clowns, he ain't paid his dues yet. We should have got those guys. Cynthia, you know what it take me back to, Jimmy? Jimmy, I'm finna go to something you can really relate to. It go back to college basketball. Penny Hardaway. First time I'll get the #1 recruiting class in the world. Do you know what all of these coaches around the country, black and white, Walter Yates, all these guys come on and saying, hey, he ain't paid his dues yet. So when the James Wiseman and all that stuff happened, guess what? They went, hold on, y'all. They went where James Wiseman didn't play. So they out on the recruiting trail for the next year, this year coming up. Guess what they told everybody? They did this kind of recruiting. Hey, well, I guess, Jimmy, in your business, I guess that's part of the business, in that business. They start talking negative against Penny to the players. I'm hearing from the players' moms. I got to realize I'm alumni. He ain't paid his dues yet. What about his talent made a way for him? His gift and his talent, that's what the Bible said. Your gift makes a way for you. This is what I'm talking about. It's bigger. Don't ever think this about me. Bigger than me. It's us out here. We need to change. We need to plant a seed. And hold up, Jimmy, my favorite word. Let's groom our young people to act a lot better than we did.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay.
So that's it. I want to remind you guys, coming up at the top of the hour, you guys may remember last week, that was a young man who was a student athlete, basketball player, who went to social media and announced that he went to Wyoming, then he went to a junior college his sophomore year. And in Wyoming, he played, didn't play probably as much as he wanted to. He played good freshman minutes, And so he transferred, going to be a 4.24. That means going from a 4-year to a 2-year back to a 4-year. And he's announced that of all his final schools, he's only considering HBCUs. This is a topic that has been floated around. Understand, he's not a McDonald's All-American. He's wasn't a 5-star coming out of high school. But guess what? He's grown a few inches since he came out of high school, and he's a possible impact wherever he goes. So we're going to have him live on the show with us, and you guys get your questions ready, and then get ready to embrace this conversation coming up at the top of the hour. Meanwhile, get some quick hitters real quick on some current events. While we were on there, just breaking news that Deshaun Nix, he's a guard from 2020 class. Deshaun, I'm sorry, we had him at the top 100 camp last summer. He has announced that he will forego his college in favor of joining the G League in that program. So he's from California, right? So understand that. This is another one. Now, he becomes the first player who had actually signed a letter of intent So basically, you renege on the letter of intent. There's no punishment for that. This is because when they well in this situation,
Watch
because
this. This is what I got for that kid. Watch this. Keep going.
I understand. So he signed. So when this letter of intent was written up, they didn't think about no guy saying signing this. It's no financial legal ramifications whatsoever. And what the G League is doing to a lot of these young men, which as they are offering some kind of support for their some type of educational support in the effort that the ball stops bouncing. Now, it may vary.
Not summertime, Jimmy. They making a real commitment to it.
You see what I'm saying? Now, it may vary for us the amount or for what, but they are taking care and making efforts. So that's the thing. So
I got something else for you to help you, Jimmy, with your conversation, Jimmy. Not just the G League. China is coming at some of these folks with some dollars. I'm just telling you.
But China, I can imagine so. But remember, China just got a couple of our players just a couple of years ago. They got Emmanuel Moody.
No. They coming at somebody they coming at somebody we know. Everybody on this show that heard about.
I'm just talking about in the 2020 class.
I'm talking, yes, right now.
So in the 2020 class.
Hold up. That has already signed a letter of intent.
Now, do the G League want that player? That's the difference.
What? The G League just didn't have enough money for him. China doubling the money.
Guess what? Like I said, China got Emmanuel Mudiay. So that was one of the things a couple of years back. And it worked out fine for Emmanuel Mudiay. Understand? You can say everybody that go to the NBA guys doesn't become an all-star, doesn't become a superstar. But the thing is, you get there and you can last past that rookie deal and get you a couple of 1 years, and then and like Emmanuel Mudiay, he's a journeyman now. Good locker room guy. That's what they say about him, and no problem, low maintenance type cat, and so he can stick. But in this situation, we're talking about Daishen Nix is decommitted. If you hadn't heard from UC, he signed with UCLA. He signed with UCLA back in November, and he's announced he's going to join that G League program, which is already they already have commits from fellow graduating seniors Isaiah Todd and Jalen Green. This team will be based in California, and they will play about approximately 20 exhibition type games. They're not going to actually play in the G League. They will get year-round schooling and instructions from tutorials or whatnot from the former NBA players and the people in the G League and the Players Association. So think about it like this. If you're a guy like you say, well, why Daishen Nix? Why understand something? A lot of these guys, we're McDonald's All-American. Every single McDonald's All-American nowadays in today's culture, they're thinking one and done.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, one and done. So no matter where they go, that's just part of the psyche of a McDonald's All-American today. So now, what does that mean for him going to UCLA? Well, guess what? There's concerns of how the season is going to go this year. There's concerns of whether whether classes will be in effect. So guess what? If I got to sit at home, I can't go get that college experience. I just want to walk down the yard, get practicing. It might not even take place. Man, let me quit playing around, go on and get this and get closer to my dream.
Hey.
And I really do understand if a person, that's what you want, you go get it. And especially, I'm down with the G League and the NBA as well as the Players Association for being wise enough to include the educational component. Great job for that. We'll see how it. Guess what? It's not gonna work the same for everybody. It's not gonna work the same for everybody. But guess what? Right now, you buy the rumor, sell the fact. And also other news. Speaking of which, Greg Brown, we had him on the show, and his father last week, a week and a half ago, he has over the weekend, he committed to University of Texas.
That's right.
He turned down this G League opportunity. And we talked about it and floated back and forth, what he going to do,
Yeah.
And guess what? Even though it was a possibility, they had been in contact
Of course.
with the G League about the opportunity. But when they factored it all in, University of Texas has, I guess, done it again. It's like 5 McDonald's All-Americans in 6 years for the University of Texas. I don't think people realize that, Howard. I say it again, like 5 McDonald's All-Americans in 6 years.
It sure don't seem like it.
Since Shaka's been there. I mean, seriously. Miles Turner was the first one, right?
Okay.
Jared Allen, Mo Bamba. What's my young man who got sick? Jones.
Andrew
Jones, and now Greg Brown. That's 5 McDonald's All-Americans in 6 years for the University of Texas. And the thing is that, guess what? Out of those 5, Andrew Jones is the only guard. The rest of those guys are long drinks of water. So if you're a long drink of water, you got a chance. So now, will Greg Brown be the next? He definitely had the opportunity. And one thing about it, guys, if you don't live in Texas, then sit this one out. Because University of Texas, one thing that the entire state knows is that if you go to that school and you take care of your business on and off the court, don't become a goofy. That program will take care of you for the rest of your life. That's the 40-year plan. And people know it. Don't get it twisted. That's not the only school that does that. A lot of schools take care of their.
Do they take care of all the athletes, Jimmy?
No, well, I said if the ones that go there and take care of their business, meaning that you do what's required or what's expected of you in some form or fashion. I remember way back in the days when I first started this, Adam, during the TJ Ford days, when TJ was a freshman and went on to UT back in 2001.
Okay.
Back during that time, there was a guard on the team that came around that time, right, a year or two, sophomore year. That name was Freddie. I can't think of Freddie's last name. If Alfio was watching, he may remember Freddie. Freddie was a guard. I think he's from the East Coast. Well, guess when Freddie got it, he wasn't a star player. He was just a utility guy on the team, role guy off the bench. Well, when Freddie graduated, Freddie got his real estate license. Guess what happened? What everybody around there, when they coaches alike, when Rodney Terry got ready to buy a new house, guess who he used?
They called Fred.
They called Fred. A lot of the players, the stuff, the alumni that support basketball, every sport got their own contingent of boosters or supporters, what I would call them. They called Fred. That's how it worked. They had another guy who was a walk-on, a walk-on on their team. And I can't think of this little walk-on name. He was on the basketball team. Guess what he ended up doing?
Called him Fred. No. No.
He did actually when he bought a crib. But guess what he ended up doing when he graduated? He got into sports management. No. Yeah. Sports management. He ended up getting a bite or two. They chucked him a bite or two. He couldn't fight the elements because you got to realize, he didn't realize that the coaches already, how the system goes. But if you go, take care of business, they're going to take care of you. So I was just thinking about that, and Greg Brown made that decision.
What about Will Baker? Was Will Baker McDonald All-American?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No, he thought he was going to be one.
Okay.
Will Baker, I'm looking, man, it ain't, remember, Will Baker ain't quite meeting expectations at University of Texas. But Greg Brown.
He's not a McDonald All-American, Jimmy.
No, but he was a top 50 player in the country.
But he was not a McDonald All-American.
He treated his recruitment as such, and he recruited his grassroots seek a career as such. Remember, he got to a certain point and laid it down like, I'm good. I done did enough. I done cashed out. I ain't got to play no more. Or I ain't got to do that. Load management.
They said his name Freddie Williams.
Freddie Williams. Who said that?
Chuck McGowan.
There you go, Chuck. Freddie Williams was his name. Look, God. And but I'm happy for Greg Brown and the family because I'm quite sure that I contacted the dad afterwards. I told him I only got one advice. I never been through this stuff. I just got one piece of advice that's universal. He said, what is it? I said, you need to have your son, give him a certain date, and change his cell number. After a certain date, change his cell number. You grown, you can handle it, but you need to get your phone because a whole different flock of people is about to come and emerge into his life. His phone number is not a secret. His phone number has been circulating around for the last 2 years. So therefore, it's time to switch gears. When you get to a different level, even though you're in college, you got something else on your mind. That way you regulating who's calling that number. That's for sure. You need a different cell phone or another cell phone, whatever you want to do it. But anyway, also put up guys.
You was on the phone with it. You forgot. You should have told him that when you was on the phone with it.
Nah, I mean, I didn't think, but we didn't know he was going to Texas at that time.
Oh, that's right.
I just talked to him after they made the decision this past weekend. And so also in other news out there, Heather, we got a couple of comments in there as well.
Okay.
The young man from Tulane, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Deshaun Hodgson. He's been charged, arrested as a suspect in a murder that took place in Georgia. And he was a leading scorer for Tulane this past season. Had put his name in the draft. Tulane has dismissed him from the program, and he, of course, his attorney was held with no bond. He's currently being held in jail with no bond, along with his brother. And there were some other co-defendants to be that are on this case as well. Now, the thing is, this young man is already, his attorney, his narrative is saying, I wasn't a trigger man. My brother was a trigger man, and it was self-defense. So that's the play they're going to do. But my thing is, man, let me tell you something. You got 4 or more co-defendants, them other dudes.
Somebody going to roll.
You doggone right.
You know what's so unique, Jimmy? Over the weekend, too, Jemias Ramsey declared for the draft. Okay? Jemias Ramsey from Texas Tech. And I just find it so unique that, just think about it. Jemias Ramsey is declaring for the draft, but it's bigger news that Nix is going to the G League. You follow me? Mm-hmm. It's bigger news of a young man going to this new G League team. That's why I'm telling y'all. So guess what? People gonna know this name. Nix. People gonna keep calling his name. He gonna have name. He gonna get more followers after the day, Jimmy.
The branding. So you're talking about the branding?
I'm just thinking about it. Think about it. Jemias Ramsey.
Let's see what kind of footprint.
Okay.
That he has. Well, you're gonna keep talking.
No, I'm just showing you how we look at this thing, man, and how we just looking at stuff. Who was that? Chuck McGowan. We got a guy just declared from Texas Tech, and it wasn't. I guess it was a fuss, but we didn't even talk about it yesterday because the show didn't dictate it. But we didn't talk about it this morning. If I hadn't brought it up then, we probably wouldn't have talked about it. But it's bigger news. Knicks going to the G League. Excuse me. I'm sorry. The NBA Academy. That's what it's really called, y'all. That G League thing is really called on paper the G League Academy. So I'm just helping everybody but it's just weird how no, Troy Bieniemy, we ain't talking about whether Rams is quiet and unassuming. That's not the issue here. Knicks is quiet and probably quiet and unassuming. I'm talking about the news. Sometimes we got to look past. I'm talking about the news that's on the front page if you go to ESPN talking about Knicks, the news, and barely a whisper. I put it like this. And y'all go up the news feed, Troy Bieniemy. Go up the news feed. Over the last 2 days, nobody mentioned Jemias Ramsey. Jimmy, in the beginning of this show, they were talking about Knicks on the Facebook feed. Knicks. I saw several comments talking about Knicks. That's the point I'm trying to make to you, Troy Bieniemy. It's not whether the kid is unassuming or not. I'm talking about the act that this guy is going to the NBA. This guy is going to the NBA Academy. And that guy's bigger news than the other guy. That's all. That's all.
Well, that's the story. And he doesn't, and I'm looking on his on his Twitter, he doesn't have much of a, he's not really active, put it like that, on social media.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
He's not active, not that active, and which can be a good thing. But the thing was, one of the in the press release from the G League a couple of weeks back, when they presented this initiative, they mentioned that branding was one of the components that they were offering to provide.
It's the point I'm trying to make.
So this young man doesn't have 3,000 followers, and he had already committed to use it, but he's not that active. And if
he's a McDonald's, Jimmy. He's a McDonald's dude.
Yeah,
I was at the McDonald's. This year.
Oh, they didn't have one this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So these guys are all part of that fraternity that will be forever remembered. And shout out to, hey, what's going on, Darshell up in Oklahoma, and see Corey Winterton has joined us, and Robert Wisen has joined us as well on the Chop Shop feed. What's going on over in the YouTube feed? We got Otha Brown.
What's up, Otha?
Yeah.
Daryl Barnes, Melvin Dews, Chuck McGowan, Ken Lutz. Who else?
And lastly, we're going to get another quick topic, and we're going to be joined in a couple of minutes, guys, by the young man who's announcing that his college, he's not even considering those conventional schools, only HBCUs. But first, somebody has a question. What are your thoughts on the Ball brothers signing with Rock Nation on yesterday?
I really don't have no thoughts. I mean, Jay-Z, they want the branding. They want to be around Jay-Z.
They mentioned him in the. I read the.
Yeah,
press.
I haven't even read the article.
I read the press release and they mentioned Jay-Z about 4 or 5 times, and in that article, meaning that it influenced him. And the agent that is on record is somebody Brothers. Somebody last name Brothers.
I don't know. It's Raymond Brothers. I don't want to say the name because I didn't see it. I don't know. I don't know.
That sounds like it may be it. Raymond Brothers sound from. I don't. That's not my world. But I go and I'm trying to check back and find it for you guys. If you guys grab it, then you guys can let me know. I'm thinking that they said the agent on the record was last name Brothers.
I didn't even read it because I didn't read it.
So if it is Raymond Brothers, is he black?
Raymond Brothers is black. He used to have his own company, and now he let Rock Nation buy him out. If that's Raymond Brothers, listen to me.
I said if that is.
I'm just making sure. I'm just trying to be clear that I don't know who it is. I haven't seen no name. Okay, they said that's him. Yes, he used to have his own firm, and now he works for somebody them people now. So
you say them people, them good people, Jay-Z and his crew.
I just gave you Jimmy, who own and run Rock Nation. I put it up there yesterday. Jay-Z don't own Rock Nation.
Now you haven't read it yet, and so tomorrow, because I have a magical question about that topic, and we'll get on tomorrow. Because but meanwhile we are.
If he hadn't popped back up, he hadn't popped on yet. Jimmy, okay, he's popping on now. I think.
Yeah.
The other day, y'all, I just wanted to make sure y'all look at it because they keep talking about Jay-Z, but these are the principal peoples. Screenshot that and y'all go research that. That's the principal people that runs. Jay-Z just lends his name to that company. Those are the key people. And I put that on there. I guess I don't think Jimmy looked at it too hard yesterday, but take a
No,
look at it.
I saw it totally.
Yeah.
I saw it totally.
Yeah.
I saw it all yesterday. Like I said, tomorrow we have a conversation because in that article they mentioned something about 2 or 3 times that's very intriguing that brings up a question, and which we would talk about in conversation on tomorrow. But right now we have Trace Young, and this man had caught the heart of many nationwide last week or a few days ago when he announced that he's about to pick a Division I school, and that only of his final schools of consideration will be HBCUs. Is that right, Trey?
Yeah, yes, sir. That's what I decided.
Hold on, let me put Trace in there. Okay, there we go.
Cool. So
here we go right now. Now we got it.
Yeah, so that's what I decided. After going through thinking about what I want to do, where I want to spend my future, do for the next few years, and that's what I came up with.
And so now tell the viewers about you and your path. You went to Wyoming, then this past season you played the JUCO route. You grew a few inches. Tell us about that as well, and how and getting to this point. How you getting to this point, and also let's just take us down first before we move forward. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, a little bit about me is I'm a southern boy. From Kentucky. Grew up with my grandmother. Really. Just she helped shape me in a lot of ways. Really she's really the reason that I've decided to do this. Went to Wyoming and played for Coach Edwards. They're a great man. A black coach, and I just, it was a learning experience for me. Didn't really work out in terms of how I wanted it to, which led me to transfer. I didn't want to sit out a year, so I went the JUCO route. Played at JUCO. Had a great year. Played for Coach Smith Peters. It was a great overall experience. And then, going through my recruitment, it just something really just clicked for me, and I really, started thinking I want to do something different, kind of something that's not really been explored a lot, go a different route for me, different option. And this is, I decided that this is what I want to do for my recruitment.
Well, I think, go on, Jim.
Go on.
No. You brought out some of your HBCUs, a lot of HBCU alumni, even Jimmy on the show. He's an alumni of HBCU. They're on the show. And what I would just, Trace, they used to get on me about this, Trace. Because they used to say, oh, man, that's pie in the sky. This will never happen, Robert. These guys, the facilities are not good. Hold on, Trace. The HBCUs don't have no money. And man, let me tell you something. When your number came through my phone last night, I called you right away. I know you say, man, I called you right away because I was just so excited that young. So guess what? To me, I don't care what nobody else said. I've talked this thing into existence.
Yes, sir.
I knew it was a Trace Young. I couldn't see you, Trace, but I knew it was going to be some young man. Josh Christopher, one of the top players in the country. He went and He probably wasn't planning on going to Howard, but he had Howard on his list until the very end.
Definitely.
You follow me?
Definitely.
And so
Yes,
my question would be, are you thinking about Howard?
So, of course, I knew this was coming, but man, definitely, I'm still, still considering all of them.
Okay.
As crazy as it sounds, I'm still exploring everybody. As soon as I broke the news, it hit the fan. Everything started going crazy. My phone started blowing up, and I'm really talking to every single HBCU. I want to see what everyone has to offer. I know a lot about HBCUs. I do my homework. I've done a lot of research, but man, it's even better to, you know, hear from somebody that's there, that spent time there. So, you know, I feel like everyone has something to offer that's different from somebody else. So I'm, you know, kind of listening to everybody, and, you know, it's just kind of, it's almost like restarting recruitment.
Wow.
Man, I mean, now you mentioned your growth spurt. How tall were you coming out of high school?
Man, so it was crazy because when I was in sixth grade, I grew, in between the summer from my sixth grade to seventh grade year, I grew 9 inches, and then messed around in the next summer, grew another 3 inches. So it was crazy. Coming out of high school, I was 6'7", you know, and then got to prep school, and then grew another 2 inches, you know, got to 6'9". So, and then, you know, it helped because the guard skill stayed, you know, got to Wyoming, played on the wing the whole year, you know, and man, that was really a great learning experience for me. You know, played with a point guard that got drafted, plays for the Kings now, and Justin James, man, I was able to learn a lot underneath him, you know, and it's just really for me is I don't look at, you know, anything as a waste of time, rather, you know, regardless of the situation. It was everything is a learning experience, and that was a great learning experience for me.
Trace, I got something for you, baby boy. Wyoming? Man. Hold on, Trace. My son played up there one time.
Yes,
Trace,
sir.
I went up there, Trace. Listen, we were outside and literally threw some water up in the air, and the water froze before it hit the ground, Trace.
Man, yes, sir.
Trace,
man,
how could you stand that?
Man, I'll definitely tell you it was tough. You know, that was part of the reason. It was just, man, I'm from the South. You know, I love the heat, man. And it was crazy. I went up there, and it was, the craziest part is the cold gets to you, but that's not even the worst part. Is the altitude, man. When you're playing in that altitude and you try to run, man, I almost passed out the first 3 months I was there. So, man, got used to that, and so the cold was bad too, but that was the last of my words.
I ain't gonna tell you my story. I had to walk up them stairs to go to y'all arena. I'm not gonna tell you my story, but I had to stop and rest. But Jimmy, Trace, have you narrowed it down? Are you just still in the process of gathering information?
Man, so right now I'm still gathering, you know, information. Luckily there were a few HBCUs recruiting me before I narrowed my list down, you know, in Jackson State and Mississippi Valley State, Howard, you know, so I had heard from a couple before I narrowed my list down. But man, as I you know put that out, it's kind of blown up. So kind of receiving information from everybody, and then definitely soon I'll be narrowing my list.
And of course, then live on the Chop Shop with us is Trace Young, and he's a young man that caused quite a storm by basically announcing that upon transferring back from JUCO to D1, that all of his schools would be, all of his final schools of consideration would only be HBCUs. Now tell us this, Trace. What schools did you have offers from before making this decision?
Man, so
I'm talking about non-HBCUs, non-HBCUs. What non-HBCU did you have offers from?
Man, first offer I got this year was Kansas State, Akron, Ohio, Alabama, you know, Tennessee Tech. Man, it's really Arkansas State. You know, it's really a couple schools that go. UConn. You know, the list kind of goes on. You know, throughout the year, I really had a great year this year. Played on a great team that went 30-4. You know, so we won a lot of games, had a lot of talent, and so really my recruitment was big. And then, you know, when I announced this, it kind of shifted. You know, it kind of shifted the movement. You know, sparked the movement. Everybody was like, "Well, dang, you know, let me hop on there," because I didn't think this was. You know, a lot of coaches didn't think it was possible. You know.
So now, Kansas State, you say was the first to offer.
Yes, sir.
Right, and so that was at what point in time last season?
So it was crazy. It was actually the very first day that coaches were allowed to come check the players out. You know, they came in, watched us go through a practice, play open gym, and they soon after the practice they offered on spot. You know, I got to talk to the coaches. Head coach was there. You know, so I got to get offered by them. I was going to take a visit, but I decided I wanted to finish the season first or finish, my academics up before I started focusing on schools. So that's what, and then, by the time the visits came around, the Corona stuff had already, took everything out of whack.
And so before the pandemic came about, remember you already scheduled a plan to visit some schools at that point back in
No, I hadn't set up any visits yet. We had just won the conference tournament. We were on the road, so it was, I was strictly basketball, focused on basketball. We were on a 20-game win streak. We had first team in history at the school to go undefeated in conference. We had just won the conference tournament. We were getting ready to go to the national tournament, and I was just kind of waiting to see what happened at the national tournament. That's for JUCO. That's huge for JUCO players, is the national tournament. Right. You go there, and that's where everybody is able to see you. So kind of waited to see what happened after that before I started thinking about visits, thinking about, my recruitment, everything.
And Darshell asked you, she's from Oklahoma, she's asking you, once again, I know you mentioned it, but then, so they didn't catch it. You went to high school, then prep school, then college. What, to name those schools again, your high school, then your prep school, then your two colleges that you went to.
Cool. So I actually played at Huntington Prep in high school, played there for my sophomore year, junior year. Then my senior year, I decided I wanted to go to Kentucky, and which is where I'm originally from, last state that has high school only one high school state champion. Every other state has classes. Yeah, Kentucky has no classes that are the last one. So, when you're the champions, you're really the champions. So I decided I want to go back to Kentucky, try to accomplish that. Unfortunately, didn't accomplish that goal. But that was at North Hardin High School in Radcliffe, Kentucky, right outside of Louisville. After that, I went to prep school in East Baltimore, lived in East Baltimore for a year, Mount Zion Prep. Man, love those coaches to death over there, man. Coach B, Coach Rod, man, those are my guys. Hopefully they're watching this, man. I love them. Man, that was probably my coming out year. Really kind of blew up over there. Man, was really had a great year. Blew up, got recruited by everybody. I chose Wyoming because one of my teammates, he was actually like one of my best friends. We went through the whole year together at Mount Zion, struggled in East Baltimore, and we're like, we can, man, we made it. Let's go play D1 together, man, and let's see what this. So we did. We took over. We were both we were co-players of the year that year on the same team, and then ended up going to college together. Unfortunately, he got medically disqualified, had a heart condition, so wasn't able to play anymore. So, it kind of hurt me. I went there to play with him, for him, and that happened. And after that, I kind of decided to transfer and, go my own route.
Did you guys have them?
No, they asked on the Facebook feed and on the YouTube feed, they was asking, compare your game with somebody.
Man.
Compare your game.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. So that's tough.
Remember now, they got videos of you out there on social media now. Don't try to stun on us now.
Nah, definitely, man. Best thing I could compare is maybe a shorter Ben Simmons with a jumper. That's the best comparison I can give you. Play the point forward, like to bring the ball up the floor. Kind of do it all. Like to use mismatches. Man, I play down low. I bring the ball up. And I love to shoot, man. I feel like if you can't shoot, you can't play. It opens up the floor, makes it so much harder to guard when you can shoot. And so, man, I guess, Lily, it's funny because I always, my go-to is always Lamar Odom. That's my game right there as a Lamar Odom. So, okay. For sure, left-handed, yep, definitely.
Okay.
And the viewers, they got questions all over now. We'll go to another question. He says that Melvin is asking you, have you had any non-HBCUs recruiters speak negatively of the HBCUs while trying to sway you, from your stance?
Of course, you'll have things like that happen, but I guess it's from a different standpoint than what people are thinking. It's more of a, like you said, they don't have the funds. You can't get, the one that I get the most is, man, you can't go pro out of And that's so crazy to me because if you look at the top 5 draft picks in this year's NBA draft, none of them are even out of college. None of them. James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball, all of them, the top 5, the guys from overseas, none of the top 5 that'll probably go in this year's draft I have played out of college. So, you can't tell me you can't go pro out of here, you can't do this. But, I like to be respectful to everybody. Really the first thing I tell coaches is, man, the biggest turnoff for me is coaches that badmouth other coaches or badmouth other programs, because that makes me feel like if I went a different route or I chose, man, that's the first thing you'll say about me is something bad, So I definitely try to avoid that conversation.
You sure know what to say.
I'm absolutely, man. We got other questions now. Chad wants to know, did you play with Miles Bridges?
Yeah. Play with Miles. That's my guy. That was crazy. He definitely took the year by storm. At Huntington Prep is where I played with him at. Man, of course, he went on to Michigan State, had a great career there, and then, still in the NBA, having a great career. So, that's what play with Miles Bridges that year. I was a sophomore. He was a senior.
And a couple of people asked me, I put these questions and bundle them together. Theo asked, have you considered Alcorn, which is a HBCU in Mississippi? And Darshell asked, has Norfolk reached out to you?
Man, so definitely both of those schools have reached out. I'm still going through, trying to catch up with everything, talk to everybody. It's crazy right now between, the interviews and the coaches calling and everything. So it's kind of, man, if any coaches are watching, anybody, man, just shoot me your number or your name first, let me know who it is. Because right now I'm really only answering calls that text first or, I know who it is because it's so many people calling right now that, man, I'm trying to keep track of it, and still finish my schoolwork and graduate and, everything. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
You thought Haller was a college coach, huh? That's why you send him to varsity.
I see how you did, man.
Man. So definitely, when I saw what you introduced yourself, I said, okay, all right, we can get on the phone.
I text you.
Now another question somebody has for you, which is pretty good, and Michael asked, what helped you decide to spend a year in the prep school instead of the traditional route, going straight out of the conventional high school? You went to Huntington.
Man, so actually coming out, I was actually I was going to go straight, out of high school. It came back that the NCAA actually sent me an email saying that I wasn't eligible because my credits didn't match up because I transferred from a school trimesters to a school with semesters. So when I did that, it kind of, it messed up my credit somehow. It had me it wasn't even a full credit. They had me, I think, half a credit short or something of the NCAA, requirements. So chose the prep school route over the JUCO route. That way I'd only have to do 1 year instead of 2, and I would keep all 4 years of eligibility. So chose the prep school route.
I got one for Jimmy, quick one, Jimmy. Because we would be remiss on this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't mention, hold up, Texas Southern, that's in Houston where we are, right?
Yes, sir.
You'll love it. PV got the best homecoming on the planet this side of Howard.
He ain't going no damn college for no homecoming.
Hold on, man. I'm trying to tell him. Hey, the blacker the college, the better the knowledge. Hold on. Hey, Trace.
Oh, man.
Hey, Trace. Hold up. And then, Trace, Southern University got some of the best scenery that I've ever seen on this planet. So, I just don't want you to get away, dude. You're a Southern guy. You from Kentucky. You come over in this area, man. You want to live here the rest of your life. It happened to me. I'm from Memphis. I came to Houston. I don't want to go nowhere else in the world. I'm just saying. Huh?
Hey, Trey, you ever heard of the group New Edition?
Yes, sir.
They had a hit song called Parson. And in the hook line, the guy says, never trust a big butt and a smile. You come down to one of these schools down here, boy,
let me tell you something.
Got it, man.
You're going to be quite trustworthy.
Are you listening to this conversation with Trace? This is an intelligent young man. He done been to prep school. This is he can handle it. He ain't
Man.
like Dennis Rodman.
Wait a minute.
Man,
You've been to Houston before. You played in Houston, right?
definitely, yes, sir.
Doing high school at Huntington
Yeah.
Prep over at the church. It was a church that you guys came and played against Jared Vanderbilt.
Yep, yes, sir. I was there.
Right? Who won that
Yes,
game?
sir.
Who won that game?
We won that game.
I know y'all did. I was there.
Yeah, we won that
Wait a
game.
minute. What was the battle? Tell me the battle between you and Vanderbilt. What happened? How many you?
Man.
What you do?
Man, that was a great game because I had actually played against him at that summer in the Super Soft Camp. So when we came back, that was kind of like like a homecoming. We played again, and it was tough because really that was the Miles show. That guy can't even, but that was Miles' game. That game, I think he had 40 something.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. He turned up the whole thing. But I probably had my little 10, 15 I threw in. As a sophomore. So it was a great game. But yeah, Jared, he definitely did his thing that game too. It was a fun game.
I need you to clarify something.
Okay.
Because one of the coaches from that team just got in the boom boom room. No comments are going while we're talking right now. They're talking and asking questions. And he says, "I'm gonna let you handle this now." He says that Jared Vanderbilt killed Miles Bridges. Speak on that.
Man, so I don't speak ill on anybody. Don't speak ill on anybody. Jared Vanderbilt definitely had his points that game.
Yeah.
But if you go through and look at the box score, I guarantee you nobody else on the team had more than 2 shots. So he definitely did, but we won the game. And you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was definitely like, it was a great game. It was a fun game.
Yeah.
It was at their place too. But man, he definitely killed. But man, the rest of his team was so frustrated they didn't even want to play anymore because they couldn't get the ball. So that was the game right there.
Let me tilt my hat to the side on that one.
Man.
Now,
so correct me if I'm wrong, Coach. You
I
were there.
I wasn't there.
That was one of them games, dude. I was gonna leave. One of them games you say I'm in my mind say I'm gonna watch the first quarter or the first half, set the tone, and I'm gonna duck on out because it was a weekend. I'm gonna duck on out and catch one of my spots. You're too young for that, young fella. But I ended up staying almost the whole game. It was good. Good game. But anyway, I got more questions for you. And we have Trace Young, guys, live with us. Feel free to post your questions if you have on YouTube or the Facebook feed. If you guys, whatever platform you're watching right now, we're going to ask you if you're on YouTube, make sure you like our page on the YouTube if you haven't done so already. And subscribe to our page if you haven't done so. On the Facebook feed, please take out the time right now to share the show. There are a lot of viewers out there of your friends and followers who can get a good dose of joy in their lives during this midday sports happy hour by listening to young Trace Young, who has opted and made the decision that he will take his talents to an HBCU this season. And you mentioned if you just missed out, if you just tuned in, then you would have missed out. He named some of the schools that he had offers on the table for. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, Trace, because I have to, as a disclaimer. Have you ever been in this or seen a school offer someone that if that person was to commit to that offer, that school probably wouldn't take it? In other words,
definitely, man, that happens. That happens a lot. More than people know. It's kind of a deal where somebody might offer them in their conference and they don't want to play against them and they offer them. And it's kind of like, well, man, now you got to choose between two. But man, there was guys on my team this year. They're kind of like that, and is a prime example of that. One of the players on my team, I won't say any names, but a school told him, man, I don't want to pressure you. We would love to have you, but there's another kid, wanted to commit. He was like, man, if, there's another kid wanting to commit today. If you don't want to commit, we've got to take him, and he was like, man, I understand you've got this school recruiting you. Call the coach right now and ask him, will you take me if I decided to commit today? He was like, and then you'll have your answer, and the dude was like, okay, cool. Tried to commit, and the school was like, well, how about we just wait out,
Wow.
see how things, and so a lot of kids that may be naive, that may not have been through the process before, that really don't do their own homework or research, can be fooled by that. They look at the names of schools, they look at the logos. I was the same one. I used to type in, the first thing I would type in was the arena. The second thing I would type in was the uniforms, and a lot of kids get, they're naive and they get tricked by that. And the whole time they miss out on a good opportunity or the right fit for them, because they think just because there's an offer on the table that they can go, when that's not the case most times.
Well,
and that's great. And one thing that people on the Facebook and the YouTube are applauding your integrity, and they're applauding the way that you're handling yourself. And that's one of the purposes of this platform, is that when we invited you to the Chop Shop, we said, hey, look, this platform will give an opportunity for many people to see what's making you tick. And now, because people wonder, just a play. He probably want to go to HBCUs because ain't nobody else offer. And you've knocked down every question of concern, the major question of concern. Was he a kid? He probably was just, dumb as a box of rocks. No.
Right.
He made it, you could tell by he's articulate. God.
Definitely.
And you understand, this is not a 5'9". Tell him how tall you are again.
6'9".
6'9". And you're a softball. He's a lefty who can shoot the perimeter ball, the 3-ball. And Herb Baker just says, I watched the young fella's highlights at Logan College this past season. He can definitely play.
If Herb Baker say he can play, wait a minute. Herb don't think nobody can play. If Herb think he can play, he can play.
Well, what I'm gonna invite you to post the link of that highlight tape that you just watched. Put it in the boom room.
Jimmy. All you got to do is Google him. He Googleable.
We don't want him to leave the show just to go find it. We're gonna put it right in there. That way they can get it while they're watching the conversation. And I'm saying, I watched it. I watched the highlight thing, and I was like, okay, that's solid. That's all I needed to know.
Wait a minute. What you said? Solid. Hold up, Trace. You hear what he said? Solid.
Man.
I mean, you realize the highlight tapes ain't. Listen, I've yet to see a highlight tape show a missed shot. So
definitely.
Hey, Trace,
that's true.
Trace, I'm finna transfer and tell you where a highlight tape does work. Now, I just found this out last night.
Okay.
Football. You like football at all?
Yeah, I love football.
The coach, Brian Flores, and Chris Greer is the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Both happen to be black. There's the only two like that in the league, right?
Right.
Brian Flores said the videotape he saw of Tua working out and throwing the ball and moving his hips made him, that's what swayed him, because he couldn't see him in person. So in some cases, I didn't know this now until last night, he said that video helped because they couldn't see him in person. He said that video helped, along with the doctor's diagnosis, but that video helped. I just wanted to throw that out there, Jimmy, because, you talking about videos don't work. I'm looking up some of Trace, I'm going to try to find something that I can put on the screen for these people.
Well, I have it pinned on the Facebook feed, the mixtape that Herb was referring to. Meanwhile, we got a few more questions. How did you tend to that? Chuck asked, what do you plan to major in? And what's your backup plan in case you don't make it as a professional basketball player?
Man, so that's a great question because right now I'm still undeclared. When I first went into Wyoming, I wanted to major in architectural engineering. Started it, was too many hours outside of basketball, especially being a freshman, trying to get into everything, get into the rhythm, get into the groove. And that was too much work. I went out of that. I said, let me try, business management. I found out that you don't have to have a business management degree to own a business, so I was like, well, I don't want to do this. So no, I kind of went back into exploratory studies. I went to, the JUCO route, got my associate in arts. And so, next year I'll have to, declare a major, but still really wide open. as far as if basketball doesn't work, there was, while I was at Wyoming, I did a couple mentor. I had a mentor he was a color analyst. Did things for the Colorado Rockies, the Broncos. Did did the games for the Mountain West Network.
Really?
So for Wyoming football games, I would go up and I would be in the booth, and I would learn how to do that, be a color analyst, how to, speak, how to find, where they find the little random facts, everything, all this, I just try to really learn that, because that is something I could see myself doing, staying with sports, traveling. You get into sports venues for free, get to watch great games and talk about it on TV, man. I'd love to do that, so.
Man, I like that. Great answer. And for those who missed it, we have a few of them that asking, can you please announce your schools that you're considering, the HBCUs? Have you narrowed? Somebody asked again. Have you narrowed your list down of the HBCUs that you are considering?
So still haven't narrowed it down. I will soon. I want to give everybody equal opportunity to tell their piece, tell what their school has to offer, because I would be naive to say that I know it all. I would be lying to you and say if I said I've explored or looked up everything there is to know about every HBCU. So I don't know all of them. So I'm just hearing from everybody, letting them to know, letting them have their say. Tell me what they have to offer. Before I start, saying this is what I'm looking for. See if they have what I'm looking for.
And somebody else asked, Trace, in your opinion, what are the three top skills that bigs need to be effective on the next level?
Man, that's a great question. I guess it definitely depends on the offense and how coach uses you. But one thing that's consistent in all of them is good hands. A coach can always use a big. They can catch, timing. I would say timing, because I've played with some bigs, and the greatest bigs I ever played with are the best shot blockers, because they can time shots. They know to go where the ball is going to be, not where it's at, and I guess 3, just footwork. I think footwork is what separates bigs from good bigs from elite bigs. If you can make moves, if you can, you can move, you can jab step and go one way, you can catch it in the high post and make a move. That elevates your game to the next level.
And also about HBCUs. Now, the question is, have you in your life, have you ever attended like a HBCU football game or a basketball game in person? If so, when and what schools? So
I've only ever been to one. I lived in East Baltimore, and I was close to DC. I went over to a basketball game at Howard when I was at, that was the year after high school, my prep school year. I got to go over there, go on a visit, see how it was, see how things were. I didn't get to go to an actual game. They had something in the gym. There was like a scrimmage or something like that. It was actually like a girls scrimmage, I think. So got to watch that, but it was the atmosphere was still cool, because they had the little DJ in the corner. They had everything that was just, like a great atmosphere, So, but other than that, I haven't really been to a lot. I haven't really learned about it a lot, which is why I'm going through this process now.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about it is that those experiences will definitely soak in. So now, who is the person? Normally, when a young man as yourself is making these types of decisions, there is an adult somewhere on either the left or the right shoulder. Who's the persons that are helping you guide through or navigate through these waters right now?
Man, definitely. I pride myself in being mature enough to make these decisions and independent in my decisions. A lot of, in most cases, unilateral decisions are bad. You don't talk to anybody else. You just do what you want to do. But man, for right now, it's just me. I definitely have mentors and old coaches. Coach Valentine from North Hardin. Coach Brian and Coach Rod from Mount Zion Prep. Those are guys that I definitely talk to and kind of run ideas past them. But at the end of the day, they say the same thing. It's fun. They say, man, we know you. You're hard headed. You're gonna do what you want to do. But I can at least, tell you, because I know you'll listen to me. I'll tell you this is how I feel. So those are guys I talk to. But at the end of the day, when I make a decision, it's me. I talk to the coaches talk to me. That's it.
Yeah. Hannah, what you got over there, Hannah?
Man, I'm just marveling. I'm just doing some stuff. You'll see it on the screen soon. But
Okay.
I mean, you keep on going because there's a lot of questions on there. Because there was a lot of questions. Ask some of the questions from the viewers.
Oh man, it's a bunch of questions on there they still have for you. But first, I want to ask you to we mentioned some of the HBCUs that you say you've heard from a ton of them, and we want to clarify down in the SWAC. You mentioned some of the school. You mentioned some of the schools in Mississippi that you say you've heard from.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to clarify? Can you mention those again? Somebody asked what schools that you've heard from personally.
Man, so I've talked to Coach Hunter down at Mississippi Valley a lot. Talked to Jackson State a lot. Man, it's
who at Jackson
really,
State? You know
anybody?
Man,
the head coach, and then Coach Burke. Man, that's my guy over there. Man, love Coach Burke, love his energy. So man, he a young coach too that you can really get along with. Man, so it's a lot of cool. Man, it's funny. I just met Coach Jack from over there the other night, the strength and conditioning coach. And man, she didn't give me any slack, man. So
what school is that? Jackson
State.
Okay. Yeah. So you met the assistant coach and talked with him numerous times, and now the strength and conditioning coach. What type of system are you looking to play in at HBCU? Is there a certain thing that you're looking for? Man,
I'm really looking for a situation that I can come in and impact a culture. When I'm thinking about what I'm trying to do right now, as far as my future and as far as the world, I'm looking at the university that I choose. I want to go in there and I want to win. Two, I want the players to see how serious I am. To see how hard I work, and really just if there's somebody that works harder than me, I'll match their energy, and if not, I want everybody to match my energy. And I want it to just go like that from top to bottom. And I'm looking for a situation to go in and win right away. Regardless of the stigma that the HBCUs can't win. I want to beat the best.
And right now, of course, guys, great. Keep the questions coming right now. And I'm looking at some of the comments on there. And somebody asked what do you feel that you have to work on to improve in order to be an impact wherever you're going to land?
So my biggest thing is, definitely staying low. I have a terrible habit of standing straight up and down when I play. Definitely, grew to 6'9". I'm used to being the small kid. I grew to the 9 inches in one summer. And I'm so used to being close to the ground that when I grew, it's just I stand straight up and dribble. So that's one thing I've really focused on last year. One thing that was brought to my attention at Wyoming when playing on the wing, but really focused on it last year. Learned a lot because it's when you go from playing in the post and all the guys are 7 foot, you don't have to worry about that. They can't get that low. But then when I turn around to bring the ball up the floor, you can't do that with the guards that sit up under your lap and poke at you and pass to you. So that's probably the biggest thing I need to work on is staying low.
What about your major? What you plan on majoring in?
Still undeclared. Still haven't decided what I'm gonna go into.
Okay. Wow.
And one of the questions, I'm looking at some of the comments, and one guy asked another guy, they said it mentioned that you probably got to do a lot of work down low, and another guy, and I mentioned, no, he's more of a face-up 4. And the guy replied, is he KG-ish as Kevin Garnett-ish? And the guy said, no, he's KD-ish as in Kevin.
Oh no!
Definitely.
What?
Yeah. Definitely, I like that comparison because that's that gets misconstrued a lot. I played for coaches that say, oh, he's tall, put him in under the basket, and then I played for guys that say, oh man, he can move around, or he can play. Let's put him on the wing, and those coaches, man, I thank them because they see the versatility. They see the different positions that I can play, and they don't limit my abilities. I think that's crazy because if you think about if a coach had Kevin Durant and was ignorant in the game, they would put him under the basket, and there would not be a Kevin Durant today, so I just, I apply coaches that understand the versatility of players and see that. So, man, all the coaches that have put me on the wing and helped me help me, develop my game, I appreciate you.
And so now the magic question, since you making this decision to purely attend HBCU, because there's a lot of guys that go to mid-level, high-level, Power 7 schools, conferences that is, and end up going to HBCUs eventually. But that wasn't by choice. It was
right.
more by force. I mean, the forces of nature still end up swaying you back to this HBCU. You are different because you are controlling your own narrative. You are controlling what your future, and you're going to own it. You're owning it right now, and it appears that you can live with the results as they come. Now, my question is, what's stopping others of your peers from this type of mindset? What's the biggest hurdle that's stopping other young black males from saying, you know what, I'm going to HBCU?
Man, to be honest with you, other than the narrative that you can't go pro out of somewhere like that or that you can't get seen, man, I that's the only thing I could think of, But because if, I know high level players that come out, man, if LeBron would have went to Howard, guess where ESPN would have been?
Howard.
So it's not exactly, it's not man, I think people look and see where the cameras are at now, but they don't look at why they're there. It's like, man, if you move that, guess where the cameras are going to move, so I think it's just, you got to look at, I'm betting on myself. That's my, that's what I say is I'm betting on myself. And, I think it's important to say that, my choice wasn't for me to be sensationalized. It was for me to receive training that could bring enlightenment, and value to a community that I intend to give back to, and I feel like that's something that I can learn at HBCU, and I don't say that to say that I can't learn it at, another university. It's just, like I'm trying to get a wider base of knowledge, that's really inclusive in, the widestream, in widestream America, mainstream America that, that you can find that you can't really find at another school because it's not really, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not really culturally relevant, to that type of school, but if I go to a HBCU, man, I'm getting more accurate depictions of my history,
Young man rumble.
Man.
You got a new follower now. He's gonna go and follow you on Facebook and Twitter and all that.
And go fly to see you play. Hey, and if you mess around and play around here, it's on. I'm just telling you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but but that's good. Jimmy, because even trace me now. I went to a PWI, predominantly white institution, and
of course.
I find myself so behind on the knowledge of my people. And I'm catching up now in my twilight years and studying and understanding certain things, man. I said, man, I should have learned that when I was your age. And
man,
I feel you. I'm proud of you, man, and I can't wait to see the next journey.
Definitely,
man. I appreciate that for sure.
What you got, man, Jimmy?
Definitely, and of course, I had a couple more questions that somebody's asked. Asking in our YouTube broadcast, they said, "What are your college teammates' thoughts on your decision to attend an HBCU?"
My teammates, I guess it didn't surprise them. They know how headstrong I am. They understand that I think on a broader spectrum. I don't think of I'm not really simple-minded. I used to have, tunnel vision. And when there was actually I had a professor, Professor Douglas Dixon, there was he came from University of Illinois to University of Wyoming, was my African-American studies professor, and he, man, that loved that man to death because he was so much more than just a professor. We man, if I needed to talk, we would go get lunch. You know, if man, we would just, you know, have conversations on the phone, man. If I had to write a paper for another class, he would sit down in a room with me and ask me questions that he knew would piss me off just because it would make me think, you know. And man, I thank him for that because he kind of opened up my mind to, you know, thinking more about, you know, this decision I'm making.
Okay, man. And you know, what I want to ask you also, in going back to, yeah, two things I want to talk to you about. One is your grassroots basketball. Of course, in recruiting, amateurism. They're about to, the NCAA is expected to make an announcement with their vote on the name, image, and likeness. You were at Wyoming. You know, Wyoming is, I think, in the Mountain West Conference. And, you know, the budget is, a lot greater than a lot of the schools in that area. That's not part of the major budgets, schools, Big Ten
Right.
territory and whatnot. Now, in your somebody texting me today asking, got questions coming out from all over for you, Trey.
Yeah.
Hey.
What is your stance on the name, image, and likeness? Even though you're about to, because you're about to going into the HBCU territory for your junior and senior seasons. What are your thoughts about, should players be permitted to capitalize on their own name, image, and likeness?
So, I mean, I've always felt like you should be able to make money off of yourself. You know, I never understood that, but I was never in a position to argue it either. You know, everybody says, well, you can do this and that, and everybody has an excuse. But at the end of the day, only athletes know what athletes go through. Only athletes know how many hours you put in. It differs from every athlete. It differs from every sport, you know, but it's never set right with me that I can't sell a picture of my face, but you can put my face on a t-shirt and sell it and make money off of it. You know, that never made sense to me. So I'm not saying that you should go and your main focus should be, oh, I'm going to go to college and make money because now I have a platform to sell myself. Like, I don't think that, but man, if somebody wants to, a kid, you shake hands with a kid every day before a game and he wants to come to your game in your jersey, I think he should be able to do that. You know, I feel like he should be able to have my name on the back and I should get whatever for that, you know, for having him buying my jersey or, you know, just certain things, you know, them putting your face on the university, them putting your face on the arena, you know, everything, you know. So I don't know how they'll handle that. You know, I know how I hope it turns out, but.
You know what's so unique, Jimmy? I'm glad you brought that up because the name, image, and likeness, college amateurism really didn't hit me. I mean, I knew about the Ed O'Bannon trial. I followed that. You know when it really hit me, Trace? When
What's
this
that?
young man, there was a punter in college, and
Yes.
he had created a great following on YouTube. And YouTube was compensating him for his following. And the university came and told that guy he's in violation and he get his scholarship taken. That's what did it for me. You can't do this. Dude, this ain't got nothing to do with y'all. He didn't even have their jersey on.
Right.
And
Right.
that's when the NCAA crossed the line to me. And that punter, I don't forget his name, but I saw how sincere that kid was, and it happened to him. That what made me a supporter of this image and likeness thing. Every time I think about him,
Definitely. You know, I've done a lot of. I know college professors are tired of hearing the college athletes should be paid speech or, you know, reading the college athletes should be paid paper, because I know all of my teammates, that's their go-to, you know, and whether it's something easy they feel like they should do or, you know, somebody like me that really feels strongly about that, you know, that actually writes a paper on it. But man, doing papers like that and, you know, just uncovering information and realizing how much money, you know, coaches make, how much money the university makes off of games, you know, everything. And you kind of look at it and it's ridiculous numbers, you know, and then you look at what athletes get and everybody says, oh, they get a scholarship or you get da da da. And I'm like, man, you know, I kind of think about it all the time. Like, what if, you know, somebody worked at a grocery store and they said, since you work here, we're not going to pay you, but every month you get to come grab 5 things out of here and take it home for free. You know, like nobody's going to work at that grocery store. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about things in perspective of whatever situation you're in, man, put it in perspective of what your life is, you know, and think, do I feel like I'm getting treated fairly if I'm doing this, you know?
Hey, man, very well spoken. And we want to let you know we are definitely proud of you for coming on today. And you understand, this is not, you're just watching, guys. This conversation is not pre-scripted.
No.
You guys know us on the Chop Shop. There's no teleprompter. We didn't tell him what questions we were going to ask.
Yeah, I was nervous. Didn't know what was coming.
And so, and you handled yourself very well.
Yes.
And that's the thing that, you know, want you to go and proceed on. And as you go through your rest of your collegiate, your amateur career, we will be watching either closely or from afar. We're going to be watching. And after you get it through and sign, we may even get you back in to describe how this plane landed to whatever destination you choose as far as your junior season. Once again, you know, Trace. Now, last thing I want to get you with before we get out of here is, I know you're a basketball player, so that means you've probably been watching or have watched The Last Dance.
Man.
Right.
I'm currently in the middle. I had to slow myself down because I was sitting in bed too long watching all the episodes back to back to back. So I had to stop myself. So I'm on episode 4 right now. So don't spoil it for me. You know.
Okay.
Now the question is, what's your thoughts on Michael Jordan, the guy that when he played, you weren't even born.
Yeah.
So I know you heard a lot about him. What do you think about him compared to a LeBron and or even a Kobe right now, guys that you probably saw?
Man, you know, I think when you get to that level of talent or that level of skill, you're in a different tier, or you're in a different zone of, you know, greatness, you know, and that's just on the court. But man, the thing that impresses me the most is the things they do off of the court. You know, like Kobe wrote books, Kobe did this, LeBron built a school, you know, like, man, Jordan has the hose, man, everybody still buys his, he just changes the colors of the shoes and puts them back out and people still pay the same price for them they did last year, you know, so it's ridiculous. It's like, man, you get that level of greatness and all the things that I don't even know, all the achievements Michael Jordan had off the court, you know, but I think to me, those are more important than any number of points you can put up, and that's more important than any number of rebounds you can grab. It's just, you look at the effect that they've had, like, without Michael Jordan, there is no Kobe Bryant. You know, without Michael Jordan's there is no LeBron James. You know, and it's just, you have to keep giving back to the youth, and then that's part of the reason, you know, I'm choosing this HBCU is to get a deeper understanding, you know, of my culture, to give back to the community that I intend to, you know, and that's the biggest thing.
Wow.
So and indeed, of course, part 5 and 6 will be coming on Sunday, and of The Last Dance. And indeed, it's enlightening, and it's doing its job.
And you know what I wanted to share with you as being a young guy who wasn't even born back in those times. What in the 3 episodes you've seen, can you imagine being in a dysfunctional situation like Michael Jordan was? You don't like your owner because he won't redo your contract. You never complain about it, but to your friends, you hate it. You don't like his boy, the general manager, the guy who you know, does his bidding. You don't like. I mean, you know, you got a guy on your team that in the middle of the season, man, I need a vacation. You got a guy on your team, an integral part, and the only reason he won a vacation is because the other guy on your team came back who went on his own vacation. Hold up, during the summer, I'm gonna make the management mad. I'm not gonna get my my operation on my injury in the summertime. I'm gonna get it at the beginning of the season so it can linger on in the season. I'm gonna make management mad. You got to deal with that fool. So then, soon as he come back, this other one, the other one, Rodman, talking about it was the we were three amigos, but I guess I'm the odd man out. I'm the third wheel. I don't want. I need a vacation. He like Scotty. See, hold up. But y'all, I learned something about Dennis. This not gonna be. Hey, this might not be in the documentary. But the director, you can take this back to your friends. The director was talking about it, right? Do you know what Dennis Rodman? I want you to Google it. I got a couple of people, every word thing I say on this air, Trace, they go Google it, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime you say something on it, they go Google. We got some Google guys on it.
I like that. Get your own information. I like that.
Yeah. So Dennis Rodman, do you know what Dennis Rodman's dad's name is?
What's that?
Philander Rodman. Do you know what a philander is? Philander is a verb. It's a guy that what? Hold up. I wrote the definition down for you. Just in case you people, I want to get a Webster's dictionary for you. Philander, y'all, check this out. A man readily or frequently enter into casual sexual relationships with women. That was that's his daddy's name. Go Google it. You Google clowns? Go Google it. His name is Philander. Hold on now. Is it surprising that his son? Hold up. I got something else for you. Dennis was one of 20-something kids. He never met his daddy. The man had almost 24 kids, I think. Okay? All right? I'm not putting I'm just explaining his name Philander. The daddy was living up to his name.
Right.
Because Philander is a verb. So then I go back and look at Dennis. Carmen Electra, she told a secret on him on the radio show. Jimmy sent it to me. He one day, he was dating Carmen Electra. Let me help you out because you wasn't born then. Carmen Electra is these days Kim Kardashian. Okay. She was beautiful, popular. She was in Baywatch, the movie Baywatch. Her and Pamela Anderson was the Kim Kardashians of our era in the 90s. Okay. So I'm just helping you out. I'm just giving you some context. So she was big stuff. Hold up. She was also a protege of Prince because she was a musician. Her dad was a musician. Her mother was a singer. Okay? It's Carmen Electra. Beautiful. If you look at her now, she's 49 years old, and she looked like she's been in one of those chambers and ain't aged that much, right?
Right.
So she married this guy. Excuse me, Lord. She married this guy, right? He came and picked her up and blindfolded her, okay? Put her on a motorcycle. First of all, she dumb. What you getting on a motorcycle with a blindfold on? He blindfolded her, took her to the Chicago Bulls practice facility, right? Brought her in there and brought her to center court inside the practice facility. Guess what?
Right.
Took the blindfold off. Wow. She said they went and ate the popsicles and, everything they had in there. And guess what she said they did, y'all? Come on, you over 21. She said they had sex on every piece of equipment in the whole place. At center court, on the weight room bench, on everything in the building. It's just Dennis. So listen to me. Michael Jordan had to deal with all that. Oh, no, Jimmy. You know, on TV, on the special, it talk about Michael had to go get him from Las Vegas. You know, when he went on his vacation, they talking about Michael had to go get him. This ain't in the. I'm telling you something that's not in the show. Michael didn't have to go get him for Vegas. He came back to Chicago and wanted to have a staycation in Chicago. They gave him a vacation. He come back and still ain't went to practice.
Right.
But guess where his apartment was?
Where's that?
Right across the street from the United Center. Michael left and walked across the street with the trainer, knocked on the door and beat up the door and walked in the door. And they said, Michael grabbed him by his nose ring. Said, man, if you don't get out of here and bring your butt to practice. And Carmen Electra was hiding behind the furniture. And then they asked Michael, what was in the room? Michael said, I can't even tell you what was in this man's bed. So it must have been bad. So I just giving you some context of what's going on. And Jimmy, you can, some stuff that's not going to be, it didn't make the cut, but reading the direction, talking to reading the commentaries of the director, it's a lot of things, Jimmy. I just don't understand how Michael Jordan functioned in that madness and won 6. Think about this. Every time he made it to the finals, Trace, he won. Now, what you think about that, Trace?
Man, from the story, man, I could just only imagine. You can look at him and see he's a wild dude. Like, it's just, man, I like his.
Trey,
I like his.
Trey. Go ahead. See, that's an old dude. Go ahead and tell that man that ain't nothing to what you young boys do nowadays.
Trace.
Trying to get me in trouble.
Say it ain't so, Trace. Say it ain't so, Trace.
Trying to get me in trouble.
No detail. Just yay or nay. That ain't nothing to what you young boys do nowadays, right? Yay or nay. It might be a nay. That might.
Trace.
Man.
Trace, you ain't took no vacation in the middle of the season, have you?
No. We talking about.
I've had some wild teammates now.
See? What?
I can guarantee you I've seen some wilder stuff than that. Man, like.
I'm done. I
got you.
Trace, I got a son. Trace, I got a son a little bit older than you. I pray to God he wasn't doing all that.
He was asking what school.
I ain't gonna tell him.
Asking what school his son went to, and you imagine what happened up there.
Yeah, let me know that.
Trace, he went to Cornell. Okay.
Trace, he started laughing.
Trace.
And he played basketball at Cornell.
Trace.
So what do you think was happening over there?
Trace.
He was just worried about school and basketball.
Thank you, Trace. Thank you, Trace. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Yeah, we
have nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, I'm sorry. Hey, Trace. Hey, man, we appreciate you, man, on the Chop Shop. That's what we're talking about, man. Good luck on everything. And one last question. If somebody asked me while Heather was talking, we want to ask you this question again to clarify, because we are based down in Texas.
Right.
And down in Texas, so people want to know, they getting on us because they say we talk about all these other schools and ask you questions about Mississippi schools. Any HBCUs in the state of Texas who have been in contact with you? Would you care to name those schools that you've spoken with a coach, not a supporter, a coach from any staff of a HBCU in Texas?
Definitely. I've talked to PV, talked to multiple coaches from PV, talked to Texas Southern. Man, definitely. Man, I'm sure if I knew where everything was located, there's a couple more. But man, I can't even. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've been after the tweet. I've been offered by every single HBCU in the country, D1, D2. Man, it's all of them. So still going, doing my due diligence, going around talking to all of them. I know some of them probably think I'm big timing them or acting, so because I'm not getting back to them as fast. But man, I'm getting around. I'm getting back to everybody. man, just trying to answer the phone. And when I get off the phone, I'll have got a missed call from another one. So I'm just going through trying to talk to everybody, but definitely talk to multiple coaches from some Texas schools.
Now I'm gonna leave you with a piece of game. Piece of game. Your roommate from this past year at the junior college, was he a freshman or a sophomore?
He was a sophomore with me.
Where is he going to college at?
He hasn't decided yet.
Here we go. Go and sit down with your roommate. If you like him, he might be watching. Don't even answer. Just look at him. Because he might be watching right now. Just, if you like him, if you like him like that, put it like that. If you like him like that, we know you like him. That's your dude. But if you like him like that, have a talk with him and ask him, do he want to come on this ride with you? He haven't went nowhere yet. His recruitment might not be like you. So you let him know if he wants to and he's serious, then he can come on with you, and that could be a prerequisite, and that'll help some of those schools out there that's messing with you help weed themselves out, because they may not be willing to take your partner along with you.
Yep, that's real too.
If you really like. So that means you can do him a solid.
Man, it's funny. I told every coach, I said, man, I don't really, you don't have to worry about any of my parents calling you, and bugging you. You don't have to worry about, any of my old coaches calling you and bugging you. You don't got to worry about my grandmother calling you and bugging you. But I have an XXL pit bull. He's a year old. He's like 200 pounds right now. I said, he got to come with me, coach. Whether you got to give me a big apartment, or whether it's I got to find a little rental crib that's a 1-bedroom with a yard or something. But man, he's a monster. So that's the only thing.
I ain't coming over your house. I ain't coming over your house.
I see you. You already got a package deal. That pit bull, that puppy is going. That's an extra person worth for luggage right now.
I got a question, Trace. Is that who making all that noise in the background?
Man, yeah, you hear him.
Yeah.
He knock his cage around everywhere. So what he does, he hears me on the phone, he gets jealous, and he want to run in front of the phone.
Yeah.
And he'll start bumping his cage, and it's crazy. He can't break out of it, but he'll hit the side and scoot it all the way over to where I'm at. So that's how big he is. But, man.
Hey, man.
Man, definitely.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks a bunch. And give a shout out before we leave. Give a shout out to your parents. You didn't mention them in the show. Shout out to your parents, and this is your time, because I know they're probably watching right now.
Yeah, man. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to everything they've done for me. Shout out to my grandmother. Everything she's done for me, and man, really just shout out to my brothers and sisters for being a great support system and giving me the motivation that I need to keep moving forward. And, really that's everybody that I need to, my coaches too. Thank you to everybody. Man, thank you all for, bringing me on this show, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Great conversation. Great to meet you guys, so hopefully stay in contact and, man, see how this goes.
Okay.
Well, one thing we can invite you to do, and it's totally on you. When you get to make your decision, you are welcome to make your decision live on the Chop Shop.
Yeah.
So
thank you. I appreciate that.
You just let us know in advance. We don't care who it is, whoever it is. You are welcome. That way you can have a platform, or you can take out the time and make your own. But this is kind of be more cool, because that way people be coming and while you're making a decision. So it's that. We open for it. So come on.
I appreciate that.
Make sure you do that and spread the word about the Chop Shop, young man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, big
but
brother.
It's about that time, guys. You guys know we're already in overtime, and guess what? Thanks for all the love you showered upon young Trace Young, that is, and his endeavors. Great convo from this young man. As you see, you've picked up a lot of fans and followers after this convo. Tell them how you guys can see on the screen how you may follow him on Twitter. That's his tag that you see up under his name. So make sure you guys can follow him, keep up with him, and we definitely appreciate everything. But guess what? It's time to slide on down Dino's back and yabba do this thing on this Tuesday. Coming up tomorrow, we have another special guest, and this is going to be one hell of a conversation. Because guess what, guys? I have right here. It's from a 12th grader who played basketball and made first team, made all state in taps this past season. He, after realizing he could not find any hand sanitizer, went and had his own brand of sanitizer established within the past month. And guess what? Join us live on the Chop Shop tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because any 12th grader who's coming up with a concept such as this needs to be showered and appreciated in our community. This is understand. And he's going to college. He's going to college. And we're going to talk about that and a lot more on tomorrow. And we got a special surprise for you guys on Thursday. But meanwhile, I'm going to use my Germatize and sit here, and we're going to get up out of here, guys. Peace over everything. Make sure you share the show if you hadn't done so already. Thanks so much for tuning into the Chop Shop. And
Jimmy, before we go, all our YouTube people, everybody on Facebook, do us a favor this evening. Go over on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube, because we're going to move a lot of stuff to YouTube. We want y'all to be a part of it. So get over to YouTube today and subscribe and like and hit the button and whatever you have to do. Subscribe, hit the bell so you can be notified. Everybody on Facebook, let's go over to YouTube. Okay? Let's do it today.
Peace, guys. We're up out of here, man. See you guys on tomorrow. Chop Shop.
We out.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop.